It's October 2024, and I've decided to enter my first ever game jam, Godot Wild Jam. Spoiler alert, not only do I not win, I will come in dead last. And you can too! Here's how. I wanted to do a game jam ever since I taught myself how to make video games during the sleepless nights after my son was born. And I even made a complete game, Wizard War. You can play it on itch.io, and it's not bad for a first game, but it does have some real issues. Nevertheless, take a look. Look at the random heroes it makes. I used parallax backgrounds. You can get disintegrated. It generates random levels. It even has a vending machine. So for this jam, I want to test, can I make a real game under time pressure? Also, my wife is 8.5 months pregnant with our second child, and I'm sure her being very pregnant won't matter as it relates to the game jam. This is not foreshadowing. Godot Wild Jam runs for 9 days, a work week capped off by 2 weekends to build a complete game from scratch. I saved up my vacation time, took the whole week off, and got ready to jam. There's a theme plus 3 wild cards, which are fun bonus challenges you don't have to do, but of course I was planning on doing all 3. I also set some ground rules for myself. No all-nighters. Family obligations stay intact, dinner with the family, chores, time with my son. Basically, I'd work the same amount of work hours I used to work at work, except instead of working at work, I would work at game. Day 1. The theme is announced. It's Haunted, a spooky theme for Halloween. The wild cards are It's Broken, the player needs to repair or restore something. Pursuer, an entity follows the player. Through the Teeth, lie to the player constantly. Now, kittens, for some reason, I really didn't like this theme. I felt like it was forcing the horror genre. I feel like jam games should inspire, not restrict, if that makes sense. Halloween is my favorite holiday, but I'm just not into ghosts. I don't believe in ghosts, and ghost stories are always so boring. They always end with, and there was nothing there. I was bummed out, but that's not a way to start a game jam, so I drank a few sparkling waters, took the dog for a walk, took a nap, and let my subconscious work on it. When I woke up, I felt much better, and I started brainstorming. Anagrams of haunted, undeath. That's it. That's the only anagram. Okay, ghosts in video games. What about the ghosts in Pac-Man? What if it's a reverse Pac-Man? You control all the ghosts at once, and you're trying to catch Pac-Man. What about a reverse Castlevania? You set the traps for the hero coming to fight you. I called my brother. He has a great idea. He said, what if you're building a haunted house at an amusement park, and you're managing the scares like a roller coaster tycoon, but it's Haunted House Tycoon. You can't make it too scary, and you can't make it too not scary. That's a good idea. Maybe something else with the haunted house. Haunted house. How do you make a haunted house better? Yeah. Haunted house. No. Haunted space station. I love space. For the wild cards. What's broken? The station is broken, of course. There's a giant alien monster pursuing the crew, and the intelligence guiding you along lies to you because it has ulterior motives. What if the station was falling into a black hole? I had this movie on VHS growing up, and it scared the bejesus out of me. The movie is bad, though. Let's say the station's at a black hole harvesting strange matter, which is a real concept in science, by the way, from the event horizon. The evil ship's computer is unfreezing crew members from hypersleep and sending them in, where they have to reach the reactor before the immense tidal forces spaghettify everything, which is a real concept in science, by the way. Okay, I celebrated with a sparkling water and got started. For tactical, squad-based, turn-based RPG, I need pathfinding. There's a great tutorial for pathfinding here, and I need 2 movement modes. Explore mode for out of combat and tactical mode for individual units with a turn order system. I spent the rest of day 1 getting units to navigate the map. I used Dialogic for the dialogue scenes, a cool font by Kenny for the font, and this rad palette for the art. Okay, started the day off with a refreshing sparkling water. Day 2, made a Trello board to track everything and set deadlines so I wouldn't fall behind. I also wrote a script and sent it to my friend Elizabeth Ross in Boston for some great dialogue.
There are times when I envy the crew, Times when I wish I wasn't a disembodied, hyper-intelligent consciousness that can't die because my memories are stored in a holographic matrix.
Is this one of those times?
It is not.
Also, I made it so that the units, when they're in initiative mode, move for 1 second. Okay, I got the enemies moving around each other. I set up the attacking and damage systems. Day 4, halfway through. My core mechanics are done. I've been holding off on art, so all this footage is just the Godot icon moving around. I'm starting to get nervous. I've spent too much time on the interface. But the interface is all the player touches. It needs to be good. Okay, still no art. We're halfway through. I need a sparkling water. Okay. One more thing before art. Formations. A squad-based game needs formations. A way to set them, a way to make units follow them, and a way that they rotate so that the front is always in the front no matter which way you're going. I also built a stealth system so you can sneak past enemies instead of fighting them. Okay, formations work. You can edit them, and they rotate based on where you're clicking. Now to make all the rest of the stuff. I knew I could do art quickly, so 3 days is fine. I think I need a sparkling water. I built the space station. I made the particle effects that are falling into the black hole redshifted, which is a real thing in science, by the way. I used a tile map for the map. Time to make some units. I need some humans, some robots. I did an homage to the black hole, so they look like those orange robots in that movie. I made some aliens. I need a giant echinoderm, which is basically a giant starfish. You got to have giant insects. Different stats for everybody. The big ones are good at melee. The insects are fast and sneaky. Humans are good at repairs. Robots are good at range. Okay, did animations for each. Then the enemies. This is the best thing I've ever drawn in my life. And the monster crab. Day 8. Kittens, I need some sparkling water. So I have all these systems, they all work, but they don't actually connect to each other. I spent way too long on the menus. There's a critical bug that made the game completely unplayable because the units weren't instancing in the main scene. Okay, so I fixed that. Okay, sound. Oh, right, sound. Oh, no time for sound. Okay, I said I wasn't going to stay up late. Okay, I stayed up until 3 a.m. Day 9. I broke a bunch of things. The formations, the thing I spent so much time on, doesn't work anymore, and I don't have time to fix it because the submission is in a few hours, and it's make it work time. Also, I do not know how to upload a game to itch.io. I need some sparkling water. Results. There were 111 submissions, and I came in 104th. Damn, I need a sparkling water. So, what did I learn? First, limit your scope. The best submissions were all small, focused, and did what they did well. I tried to build multiple menus, multiple game states, a full squad system. It was way too much. Second, prioritize the game loop first. I had components that worked in isolation but didn't work together, and that's the whole game. Even starting with just one character instead of a full squad would have helped, for example. Third, think about everything the game needs. I completely forgot about sound. Instead of adding a stealth system or more enemy types, I could have shipped a game that had, audio. Okay, anything else I should have learned? Let me know in the comments. Okay, so yeah, that's the game jam. I spent 216 hours on it, submitted something that can only describe as technically a game, and learned approximately 3 things I should have already known. But here's the thing, in all the wreckage of this, I found something that I actually want to make. It's a game called Moat. It's a hard sci-fi, turn-based, squad-based, roguelike tactical RPG, and unlike the game jam, I'm giving myself more than 9 days to finish it, so we're off to a great start. I want the players to build their own worlds, their own species, their own civilizations, with strange biology, abilities, and senses. The planets are procedurally generated. The combat has interesting options. And because it's hard sci-fi with huge gulfs of time, the things you do in game can have an impact decades later. Maybe this time I'm actually making something good. If you'd like to try out an MVP of the game, it's on my itch.io page. The link is down below. And if you want to wishlist it on Steam, you can do so there as well. You'll be the first one to know when the game is playable by someone other than me and my very patient wife. Oh, and the baby is healthy and doing great. She was born weeks later. Relax. I told you, it was not foreshadowing. Okay, bye.